COVID-19 has changed how we live our lives. Many of us are working remotely. Some of our kids are learning virtually. And we're all depending on technology to help us stay connected. This demonstrates that we didn't let this pandemic stop us from doing what's important. We found a way to do them safely. The same is true for the November 3rd election. You can make sure your voice is heard and still be safe. Your voice matters. Our country is at a crossroads. Whoever wins the presidential race will impact our country's direction for much more than a 4-year term. And as I mentioned a few weeks ago, the future of the ACA is also on the ballot. Voting by mail is a good option if you're concerned about coming into contact with others. Act now if you need to request a ballot. Return your completed ballot as soon as possible and check with your county's Supervisor of Elections office to make sure it has been received and accepted. Voting early is another way to avoid crowded polling places. Each county is required to offer early voting for at least 8 days before the election. Check with your Supervisor of Elections for dates, times, and locations. On Election Day, you'll typically see the largest crowds and the longest lines, but you can still be safe by following the rules we've been living by for months. Wear a mask, stay at least 6 feet away from others, and sanitize your hands. Try to avoid the busiest times of day, like before and after work and during lunch. And it's best not to bring your kids with you to avoid them being exposed to COVID-19. Now is the time to come up with your voting game plan. As Marian Wright Edelman said, democracy is not a spectator sport. Make your voices heard this election.